What is up, everyone? It's your boy Danny G, SFG TV in the house. Just want to make a response to PR's video. PR52, my good friend throughout the years here, made a video on a subject that used to be a big thing here in the TTC, bandwagon fans, of course. You know, and you made up a lot of good points in your video, like one of them being the fact that a fair weather fan can a lot of times be worse than a bandwagon fan because they don't stick with their team, they're not loyal. However, there's a little bit of a difference between being a fair weather fan and kind of being a fan of a team and just like, you know, not really like following them, or maybe following them but like realizing, oh hey, you know, my team sucks, you know, I can't make this video talking about them. I can't, you know, wear my gear because this team sucks. You know, I'm not like that, of course, but you know, some people just are like that, but they'll still be a fan. And then I guess when their team's good, they'll just all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, like I love this team. I'm gonna wear my jerseys. I'm gonna rep them. I'm gonna make videos for them. You know, all that. But like being a fan of, like, one thing you said also about like it being a Bay Area trend, like that's where I also gotta disagree with you a little bit, because Bay Area fans have a known reputation of being loyal to their team, like no matter what. And that's another thing, is you might not just see them not wearing their gear like of the Niners when they suck because, you know, they're pissed at the Niners, you know. They're pissed at the fact that Jed York basically put the team in a shithole and they just don't want to wear their jerseys repping them. Doesn't mean they're going to stop being a fan of them, you know. As you know, some people on here even did the boycott, you know, the Yorks and, you know, all that. I thought all that was ridiculous and stupid, and I would never do that myself, but that's just some things that some people will do as fans. Now, another thing you brought up was, you know, if you like a team when they're good, you know, you're not a bandwagon fan, of course, if you support them throughout your whole life, and that's very true. You know, you don't have to become a fan of, you know, a lot of people become fans of teams when they're good and they just stick with them for life. You know, one of my coworkers that I work with who's a Niner fan, he became a Niner fan when he was like really little, when they were in the Super Bowl against the Bengals, because his dad was like rooting for the Bengals, he told me. But, you know, he's stuck with them back throughout our bad years. He's been a fan of the Niners for life, you know. And, you know, the Warriors now, you know, I was a fan of the Warriors back when they sucked, as everyone will know. Been a fan of this team since 2006, 2007, back when I was 9 and 10 years old, when I first started being a sports fan. And coincidentally, that year, they actually did become good a little bit that year. They were the 8th seed. They upset the number 1 seeded Mavericks with Baron Davis, Jason Richardson. That was a total coincidence. You know, I started being a fan of all my teams back then, you know, the Giants, the Niners, the Warriors, the Sharks, you know, even Stanford. And another thing is, you know, I don't want to say I grew up. I lived the first 7 years of my life in Palo Alto in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I moved to Cave Creek, Arizona when I was 7. I moved to the Phoenix area when I was 7.5 years old, and I didn't start liking sports until I was 10. Does that mean that I'm a bandwagon fan because I didn't start liking the Arizona teams, even though I lived in Arizona at the time where I started liking sports? You know, no, because, you know, I had memories. I remember going to a Giants game before I was, like, knew anything when I was 7, and just, like, loving the park. You know, San Francisco Giants game, loving AT&T Park, loving the Coke bottle, loving everything about the park. And I just became a fan of them. You know, they were, like, the first, you know, baseball was kind of the first thing I got into a little bit, and I became, you know, but I just decided to go with, you know, where I was from also, because I like, you know, as much as great as Arizona is, as nice as it is, you know, the Bay Area, you know, in San Francisco just had a thing to my heart also. So, you know, but I've always been a fan, you know, no matter how good any Arizona team was, you know, maybe in the playoffs or something when they're playing a team I don't like, I'll root for them, you know. I used to go to some D-backs games also when I was like 10 years old, just because, you know, I was interested in sports and interested in baseball. But I always rooted for the Giants as my team, and like I always root for all my teams, of course, and always will. So let me get over. Anyway, though, yeah, PR, like, your video was good. You know, you made a lot of good points. And, you know, being a sports fan, there's like a lot of rules, so-called like fan rules of being a sports fan. Honestly, the only thing that matters is just rep your team, stick with your team, no matter how good they are, no matter how good or how bad they are, I should say. Just rep your team no matter what, always, you know, through thick and through thin. And that's pretty much all there is to it, you know. Bandwagon fan, the whole bandwagon issue in the trash talking circle also, you know, as you would remember PR in like 2009, my first year being here, you know, with Gran Turismo Freak 93, for example, if you remember him, you know, deciding he wants to like the Cardinals in Wisconsin because, you know, Brett Favre put us through all that shit, you know, yeah, that's being a bandwagon fan, you know. And, you know, back then I was like, oh, you gotta hate bandwagon fans, but, you know, outside the TTC in real life, you'll see people saying they like two teams, they like two different teams, or they went from one team to another. You know, in reality, you know, who really cares? At the end of the day, they're not a criminal or anything. They're just a fan of a sports fan in a different way. It's no big deal. But if you're gonna make videos here in the trash talking circle, then you're gonna get shit for it no matter what. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. PR, good video. Hope you guys enjoy seeing me driving a little bit in this brand new Honda Civic that I got a couple months ago. And looking forward to football season right around the corner. Niners, I think we're going to take the West this year. I'm out. Peace.